What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. What I do here is I talk about the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can use them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is something that I think is extremely important to understand. Not only is it extremely important to understand, but it is literally where we are headed as a mass collective, as a society, and it is exactly where, occult power is headed. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm gonna be covering in this video today. Just to give you a little bit of an understanding on who I am, my name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist, fully initiated in Kabbalah, being the top and the bottom of the tree. I'm studied with the tarot, connecting back to the 22 archetypal paths on Kabbalah, and I'm also studied with astrology as well. Okay, that's just to give you a little bit of a context on who I am and who you're getting this information from. Once again, I am an actual practitioner. This is not just me being theoretical and being studied. This is me being studied. But before I was studied, I was a practitioner. So everything I'm sharing is coming from personal experience and what I'm seeing in my day-to-day life. So without further ado, that's what we're going to be covering in today's video is, once again, where occult power is headed and how to gain the most out of it, how to be, essentially how to be successful or how to be powerful in this new age of magic that we're moving into. Because as most of you can probably pick up on, by now we are shifting. The entire mass collective consciousness is shifting. There is a lot of elite people that used to be in power that are no longer in power anymore. They're losing their grip. They're losing their control. And with all that taking place, there are energetic shifts that are happening simultaneously. And that is why we're seeing what's going on in our day-to-day life right now. With the principle, as above, so below, there are big things going on right now. So if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm talking about, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so let's go right into it. So, let's see. So I'm gonna jump right into it. So there has been a lot of corruption that has been going on within our government for about 400 years, roughly. I've mentioned that in other videos. If you want to look deeper into that, you'll find them. They're recent uploads on my channel. I have plenty of videos that talk about the elites, plenty of videos that talk about what's going on and things in that nature. But as I said, this video is going to be geared towards where we're headed now as a mass collective, and where occult power is moving and how to get the most out of it. Okay, so what I want to make sure I cover in this video is, one, I want to be practical. I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying, and I want to make sure you understand that this is not fluff. This is not something I'm making up. This is not something I came up with. This is something the most powerful occultists in today's time are applying right now, and this is something I'm applying. And if you want to really have occult power moving into this new mass collective or this new generation or this new age, so to speak, then you're definitely going to want to hear me out and take what I'm saying and really absorb this information. Okay. So jumping right into it, we are moving into the age of the vampire. Okay. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, have no idea what that means. A lot of you probably may be having a Hollywood attachment to that word. But I want to make it clear that vampirism, in regards to the occult and how energy mechanics work, vampirism just means the ability to devour energy, the ability to suck in energy by devouring it. And specifically when it comes to the occult, what we refer to as vampirism is the ability to devour chaos and turn it into life force. Okay, so obviously, if you have any scientific understanding, you would understand that chaos is a major part of the multiverse. It's a major part of the entire universe, right? Like, chaos is directly correlated to the abyss, and obviously there is tons of dark matter energy that exists in the universe, the multiverse, and all these other dimensions. You look up at the sky at nighttime, all you see is darkness. You see little stars here and there that look nice, but behind that, it's all dark. There's a lot of dark matter energy. So you could say that is chaos, okay? Now, chaos has a couple meanings. Chaos is all potential. And why is it all potential? Because it's chaos. It's moving so fast, and it's so broad, and there's so much of it. It's so expansive. It moves in all directions that there's massive amounts of power and potential within chaos. But here's the thing: here on Earth, specifically in the physical plane, the realm that we all are living on with our physical human bodies, chaos can easily get out of balance. And when chaos is out of balance and it's not taken into account, which means you let chaos run you without bringing order to chaos, that's when chaos can be looked at as almost being like evil. Okay, you can almost think of it as being evil. When you have chaos and you're not addressing it with your human consciousness, and you're not addressing it with your awareness. So to let chaos take on its life of its own without having awareness that's drawn to it, chaos will always move in a direction that is going to cause destruction. Now, obviously, if it's your awareness and your awareness is not focused on the chaotic aspects of your life, and you don't have the ability to bring order to those aspects of your life, then that aspect of your life can cause you to self-destruct in those specific areas. That's why gaining awareness is so important, and that's why when it comes to the occult field, we talk about, raising our consciousness, which means increasing our awareness, which increases our power because we become more aware of chaos. And when you become more aware of chaos, you can interact with it and use it in whatever manner suits you best, and specifically suits you for evolution. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that, once again, is because we are moving into the age of the vampire. Now, there's also a huge Kabbalistic connection to this as well. And the Kabbalistic connection is the fact that if you know about the tree of life, you have the top of the tree, which is the Sephiroth, which is universe A. And then you have the bottom of the tree, which is the Qliphoth, which is universe B. And then on the back of the Sephiroth, you have what's known as the tunnels of Set, which is also universe B. Okay, so we are in the age where universe A, the Sephirothic tree that we've been living in, that connects the human being to the Elohim and the Enochian angels and the Enochian gridworks, we are now in a time where that universe is collapsing in on itself and is dumping itself into universe B. Okay, now this can throw a lot of people off. A lot of people probably don't know what that means. Basically what that means is that the Enochian angels, the Elohim, they are parasitic entities. Okay, these are spirits, and these are, you could say, alien entities or alien parasites, if you will, that have been harvesting human energy for a long time. So when we look at all these elites that are within our government here in the United States, we have the Rothschilds, we have these inner Jewish rabbis that, once again, I've mentioned many times on my videos. They are possessed by the Enochian angels, and they are the Elohims. They are the Elohims. They have structured themselves in this society as the Elohims, and they've been using Egyptian technology in regards to Enochian gridwork magic to set up specific power zones and gridworks around all the cities and all these different locations here in the United States to essentially feed off of the mass collective hyper infinity, that the mass collective's hyper infinity energy, and take it for themselves. And that's why the mass collective is always really low in the hierarchy, and then you have the extremely rich, the extreme, like they're not just rich. These people are they're like, this is the mass collective in their you could say financial state, and this is rich. Like this is the real gap. But when we talk about the real 1% and these real elites, they're beyond. You can't even see it, right? It's that much more. So there's obviously some corruption there. So basically what I'm saying is, evolution has to take place, and evolution will always take place. And we're now moving in a space and time where this old way of running the mass collective and running society is not working anymore because it's not in alignment with evolution. So we're at a huge turning point in society. We're at a huge turning point in occult control and in occult power and magic. So as I said, the Universe A and all the Enochian angels and the Elohims, that is all collapsing into Universe B. Now, Universe B, if you're aware, as I said, it's the Qliphoth and the Tunnels of Set. That is where all the demonic hierarchies live. That's where the Ars Goetia exist. That is where the Qliphothic sphere ruling archdemons live, like Beelzebub, Lucifuge, Rophical, Samael, Lilith, Nama. You have Lucifer, Satan and Moloch, all these spirits, right? That's where they live. Hecate is a spirit that exists in Universe B and Universe A, can go in both areas. So long story short, that's where all the demons live. That's where all the dark entities live, the dark matter energies. Now, the funny thing is that when you develop yourself, obviously as a human being that's on their spiritual evolutionary journey, the proper way to do it is to make sure you have the right starting conditions. And that's first and foremost. So what are the right starting conditions? The right starting conditions is to make sure you have a warrior spirit and to also make sure that you are a vampire. Okay, now what does that mean? Okay, remember what I said from the beginning of the video. Vampirism is not the Hollywood, like your fangs come out and you're like Count Dracula, you can't be around silver or garlic or whatever it may be. That's just Hollywood's way of, trying to distract the real concept or energetic mechanic behind what vampirism really is on an energetic scale. Once again, it is the ability to devour chaos and turn it into life force for yourself that can then fuel your evolutionary journey. And the chaos that you devour becomes source. So what I'm saying is, if you do it properly, and when I say if you do it properly, what I mean is like when you begin your spiritual practices, your occult self-development, especially if we're going to be talking about Kabbalistic initiation, you need to make sure that you are, one, a warrior spirit, which means that you don't give up, you stay consistent, you keep trying even when you fail. These are essential. But then, two, you need to understand that chaos is meant to fuel your evolution. And the way that it fuels your evolution is by devouring it. What does that mean, devouring chaos? That means being able to see chaos, and it could mean different things. So it could mean being able to see chaos and then attack it like, no, I don't like this. I don't want this in my life. Fuck off. This is not what I want in my life. I'm gonna keep myself aligned with my evolution. I'm not gonna let you control me. That's one aspect of, you could say, devouring chaos. Then another more effective way, in my opinion, which takes more practice to get to, is the ability to see chaos and just within your intention recognize chaos and say, oh, this is chaotic, okay. And then you just pretty much take it in and you alchemize it, meaning you don't let it run you, you don't let it control you. You don't give in to the chaos. You don't even really fight it. You just have this very strong awareness that can lock on to when there's something chaotic, and you immediately process it and you understand, oh wow, this is chaos, and then it gives you energy. Okay, but that is a more advanced level of vampirism. But at first, becoming a vampire, you're going to find yourself in chaotic situations. And it's going to build, you could almost say, neural pathways within your mind, and within your genetic code is going to change, as well as your energy body. And you're going to start to combat chaos, which means not being a light warrior. That doesn't mean being a white knight or a love and light tree hugger, new ager. What that means is being willing to use chaos on chaos. Okay? So that's like using your intention to destroy chaos. Okay? So for example, we see this in many movies. There's many vampire movies. One that comes to my mind that I recently saw was called 31 Days a Night. And for those of you that saw that movie, you understand that at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, great movie, you should watch. It's very old, so it's probably not that much of a spoiler. I'm sure some of you have seen it. But at the end, you realize that in order for the man to save the girl he loves and the child the girl is trying to save, he has one option, and there's only one option. And he has to fight the vampires that are trying to kill them. And he can't fight them as a human being, so what he does is he injects himself with the blood of a vampire, a dead vampire, which then turns him into a vampire. So he becomes the chaotic being himself, a chaotic entity, and then he fights those vampires, and he's extremely powerful because he took on that chaos and then directed that chaos into those other vampires, when the average human being that was bit by the vampire or was injected by the infectious vampiric blood or infection, whatever you want to call it, they had no control over themselves. The chaos took them over, and then they turned into other vampires that wanted to rip the other humans to shreds. But this guy in the movie 31 Days a Night was able to manage his chaos and direct it in the proper way and fight the vampires with it. That's the same exact concept. Now I want you to think, how many movies have you seen where you have something chaotic that is fighting something else that's chaotic, and the chaotic thing that's fighting the other chaotic thing, one of them is in the right and one of them is in the wrong, right? What I mean by that is one of them is aligned with source and the other one is always out of alignment with source. So another example is we have Batman, which is a bat, okay? It is literally vampiric. There's vampiric symbolism, occult symbolism behind that movie. And he fights the Joker, okay? The Joker is symbolic of the Kabbalistic tree. It is literally the very first pathway that is an archetypal pathway on the tree. It's known as the Fool, which also translates to the Joker. But as you know, the Joker is obviously a chaotic being, and Batman is also a chaotic guy. He's a chaotic being himself. He carries a lot of dark energy, dark matter energy. But he fights the Joker because Batman is in alignment with Source. He does it for his loved ones. He does it for his own city. He does it for evolution. He knows that if he doesn't destroy the Joker, then his city's gonna burn down and evolution won't be able to continue because the Joker will just cause mass destruction because all he is chaos. Chaos runs him. So you have Batman that fights the Joker and wins because Batman is in alignment with Source. So these are examples that I'm sharing with you that we've seen, you know, in Hollywood, you know, being portrayed in movies, but this is also going on in a day-to-day basis. This is the new age we're moving into. We're moving into the age of dark matter energy, where there is going to be a lot more of it. There is going to be a lot more demonic influence over the mass collective. And once again, that's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you don't know how to adapt. It's only a bad thing if you don't understand how to be a vampire. And this is just a fact. You don't need to believe me, okay? It's gonna happen. You're gonna start seeing it. There's gonna be a lot of people that will not pick up on this, and they're gonna suffer, and they're gonna live mediocre lives, and they're not gonna understand this until they're forced to understand it, if they do, okay? So there's gonna be a lot of people that never do, but there's gonna be a lot of people that will take them a long time to integrate all this understanding. This is advanced knowledge I'm sharing with you, by the way. This is not typical. This is advanced, okay? This has very deep occult symbolism to it. So the ability to, once again, be a vampire, to devour chaos, turn it into life force, which then sources the chaos. And when I say it sources the chaos, what I mean is that when you devour chaos, it returns that chaos to source, okay, to source. The more you do it, the more you practice it, it returns it to source, which strengthens your connection deeper to source as well. What is source? Source is evolution. Source is what is the overarching energy that runs through everything. It runs through chaos, it runs through evolution, it runs through good, it runs through bad, it runs through every single thing. That's what you could think of as source. And when you're a vampire, you're a source vampire. That's what we want to do. We're not just causing chaos to then feed off the chaos and then cause more chaos, to just allow that chaos to just continue to spread and to fester around. That would be pointless, and that's not what a real vampire is, okay? Vampires are supposed to be source vampires, okay? If that's the kind of vampire you are, and that's the kind of vampire you want to be, where you feed off chaos and then you use that to cause more chaos, and you're just going to end up self-destructing. Because once again, chaos always devours itself. It always does. It's very powerful. Chaos is very powerful. With great power comes a lot of responsibility. And if that's the kind of mindset you're coming from, to just devour chaos, be this dark person that's like, I'm going to feed off chaos and then cause more chaos, you're going to devour yourself. You're going to lead yourself down a path that you don't want to go down. But if you don't believe me, go ahead and continue to do that. But being a real source vampire takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of patience. And it takes a lot of understanding and wisdom to develop to high levels, okay? High levels of advanced vampirism, because you have to be willing and able and ready to sit in chaotic situations and observe and understand. And then as you do that consistently, you understand your awareness being drawn towards a chaotic circumstance is vampirism, because when you're aware of it, you don't get triggered with it. When you're aware of it, you don't act out in a chaotic way back with the chaos, because now the chaos just possessed you to make you self-similar to it, okay? We live in a world right now where there's tons of chaos already because of what all these elite bloodlines have done to the mass collective. They've caused so much chaos already. So we live in a world where you don't need to cause more chaos. There's already chaos everywhere around you. Just look around. Look at coronavirus. Look at everything that's going on. So there's so much potential to gain energy from this and to connect with source. The goal is to link with source. Okay, the goal is to link with source. And what I'm saying in this video, and this is where I'm gonna leave it, the only way to connect with source is to adapt the archetypal vampiric understanding, energy body. That's what I'm going to say. You need to adapt the vampire energy body. You need to understand how to use chaos on chaos to destroy it and then source it for yourself for your evolution, so that you can move farther to your evolution, which brings you closer into alignment with source. And once you create that, once you create such a strong connection with source, you actually link with it, and it permanently changes your energy body forever. Where your soul, I've mentioned this before in other videos, where you literally black hole your soul. I'll make a whole video on that. I know this can get a little complex, but basically through the proper initiation, by applying, the warrior spirit, the vampire understanding, by being a vampire, and using those energetic mechanics, you eventually build up so much dark matter energy within your energy field that it collapses your soul into a black hole, which then can produce an almost infinite source of light, which to your soul, what it does is it creates a permanent negative torsion field. And a negative torsion field in a world of chaos causes chaos to suffer for source to grow more, for source to evolve more. So when you do that to your soul, and now you have a permanent negative torsion field, everything around you that is ignorantly chaotic and is out of control of its chaos suffers, so that you can reach source, so that you can literally achieve all the things you want in life and continue on your evolutionary journey. And when you get to the point where you collapse your soul, which takes it takes a while. This is like advanced occult knowledge I'm sharing, and I can break it down in regards to Kabbalah and how you do that and where it would happen, but I'm not gonna go that long in this video. But when you get to that point where your soul collapses and then it produces that infinite source of light, you're permanently, just by being alive, your energy field by default is creating a negative torsion field, which spins counterclockwise. If you understand about Fibonacci sequences, which shapes awareness, it goes negative clockwise. What that's doing is, as I said, it's making, by default, chaos that is unaware of itself to suffer, to squeeze it, make it suffer, and bleed it dry of all of its sourcehood, which then naturally channels right back to the person who has the vampiric energy body that has a negative torsion field for a soul. And that directly comes right back to you. So in a nutshell, that means you have better luck. That means things work out always for your best interest. And when I say always, I mean everything. Like, everything works out for your best interest. Even when you make really bad mistakes and you go down the wrong path, it always ends up teaching you a major lesson that's very beneficial for you. You gain massive amounts of psychic power. You gain massive amounts of the ability to cause change with your intention and things of that nature. It's very powerful. So that's where I'm going to leave it at. I mean, this subject can go, I could literally talk about this subject for a day, like 24 hours straight. It's a deep subject. I'm not even scratching the surface with it, but I did share a lot of deep knowledge on this. That's a fact. But I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'll make some more videos about this, soon. I think it's important, especially for the age that we're moving into. So I'm gonna leave it there. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can, and definitely hit the subscribe button, please, if you enjoy my channel. I want to definitely spread this information. So also share this video. If you feel like you know somebody that could gain some value from knowing what I'm sharing, share the video, okay? Other than that, definitely make sure you go into the description and check out my Patreon. It is literally the first link at the very top, says my Patreon right next to it. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual occult practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself. For example, I have a video on how to do an invocation. Now, what an invocation is being able to channel an external intelligence, being a spirit, into your own energetic field and then sucking in its energy, which is vampiric in nature, which is taking on its energy, its life force, its knowledge, and its power into yourself. And that's what an invocation is. Using two specific techniques, one being a sigil and then one being a mantra. And what that does is that increases your psychic senses, that increases your psychic power, and that increases your psychic protection as well. Okay, very important to understand. And this is fundamental for occult practices. Okay, so you're gonna find videos like that on my Patreon. Also, if you want to take your Kabbalah studies to the next level, I definitely will recommend my Patreon as well. I break down all the spheres on the Tree of Life, the Sephiroth, and then all the spheres on the Tree of Death, the Qliphoth. I break down all the spheres with all the attributations, all the symbolism, and then I break down my own personal experience having initiated through those spheres myself. I don't know anybody else that's doing that. I think it's very valuable. Trust me, if I had the ability to come across a channel that was doing the same thing when I was going through my initiations, I 100% would have. Very valuable information there. Now, in order to gain access to this exclusive content that is not on my YouTube channel, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. There's 4 tiers altogether. As you go up higher in tiers, the benefits increase. I'll let you check that out for yourself. But in order to be a tier 2, it only costs $9.95 a month, and that is a reoccurring payment. Now, if you do the math, that literally will come out to less than $1 a day, so there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that, especially with the value that I have on there. I would love to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link that you see in the description. Huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Huge shout out. The next shout out I want to give is to all my Patreon members. Huge shout out to you as well. And then huge shout out to all of my followers on YouTube in general. So huge shout out. Now, second link below, that's going to say Square Appointments. There you're going to be able to book a tarot reading with me. So the way I do my tarot reading is present near future and long-term future. I do the reading by myself because it helps me do the reading a little bit better and I can really get in my zone. And then when I'm finished with the reading, I do a whole video breakdown that I send to you individually. What I'm doing is I'm breaking down all the symbolism that I see on the card, all the way down to the Hebrew letter. And so far for every reading that I've done, I've been literally able to connect every person back to where they're located in regards to their spiritual journey, connecting it back to the Kabbalistic tree of life. So very powerful reading. I'm not doing it the normal subjective way. I'm sharing exactly what my spirit is telling me to tell you, and I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm letting you know exactly what I need to tell you, and potentially giving you some advice moving further in your journey on what to expect and how to get the most out of your own spiritual self-development. So other than that, once again, you're gonna be able to find that link to book your tarot reading with me in the second link below that says Square Appointments. It costs $40. You can literally click that link, put in all your credit card information, pick a date, and then I will get the notification. Then I'll reach out to you personally and we'll go from there. Other than that, that's gonna wrap it up right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.